guys, FX350 CS here, and welcome back to some more Split Second. So I may have finished the game, but there's still more content to showcase. So, yeah, this game actually does have some additional content that I'm more than willing to actually showcase. And before we actually get into the meat of it all, I thought it would be interesting to showcase like all decals in the game. At least the majority of it, because there's quite a lot of trophies, achievements, and in the game that actually reflect to being decals for your vehicle. And while some of these can be a little bit silly to unlock, and a lot of these are similar to one another, and some of them overlap one another to just simply there's a term for it, but basically just remove one of them. But basically, there's quite a lot of them, and they're actually some pretty neat designs, I'll give them that. But there's actually one of these decals that are actually pretty interesting to actually unlock, but it's also one of the easiest ones to unlock in the game. And that's actually this one coming up. Have we met before? That's for people who have copies of Blackrock Studios' previous game, Pure, an ATV off-road game released on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. It's an interesting, nice little detail to actually have it, but at the same time though, admittedly, I have a copy of the PS3 copy of the game, mainly because I wanted to get that decal, and I still haven't played Pure since then. So, almost 10 years, and I haven't actually played that game. That's kind of sad. But yeah, moving right along, we're going to get right into the main meat of everything. The vehicles that I actually have showcased. Now, I already showcased the Firestorm thanks to a detonator course, but there's a lot of other vehicles that I wasn't able to showcase. And one of these is the Elite GT12. I guess I was trying to switch colors, I don't know, but I don't know why I was going to try doing that. Now, as you can tell from the stats, it doesn't have very good strength, although, in my opinion, strength matters nothing in this game. Nothing. But, surprisingly, while I was racing with this thing, it was better than what I was remembering it being. It has some pretty decent drift power. The speed is actually pretty nice, and the acceleration rate is actually pretty decent, all things considered. I wouldn't say it's the best vehicle in the game, but it is actually a really nice vehicle to have. At the same time though, if you don't know how to use it, I can see why I just didn't really like it. Because it's not that much of a drifter compared to, say, the Firestorm, which is what I was really into back then. Even more so, we have the Elite Goliath, which is another vehicle that I completely ignored back in the day. Because who uses trucks? You would have to be a fool to use a truck. The thing is, though, I was kept caught off guard with this one too. Despite the low drift amount, this thing can actually drift relatively alright. It doesn't have good drift control, but it has some pretty decent drift, and if you could get this thing going, my goodness, it can go. It can go. Like I said though, the strength stat, as far as I know, doesn't really play much of a factor. I'm guessing it's just for durability when it comes to having good control of when explosions happen, but I don't know. I really don't know, but honestly, the Goliath surprised me. It was actually a lot better than what I remember it being. Whenever I played this thing, whenever I was younger, I thought it was a tank. It feels still like a tank, but it's a lot better than what I remembered. I don't remember showcasing this vehicle. I may have, so if I did, that's my fault that I'm showcasing a vehicle that I already have, but it's a decent example of something else that I could showcase as well. So, as you can tell, the airstrike mode in quick play is infinite, like I mentioned in the Let's Play. And because of this, you can actually get a pretty good high scores if you really wanted to. It gets tricky after a while, but yeah, you could do that. But yeah, this vehicle, it's alright. It's not the best, but it's alright. It's a standard, quick, zippy vehicle. Now you might think, well, why am I not checking out the DLC vehicles yet? Well, there's another set of vehicles that are actually in the game that I'm more than willing to showcase. And that's none other than, wait for it, the FX350 CS. The Coyote AMX. I'm showcasing these way too slow. Also, I love the descriptions. Exclusive version of this specific vehicle. And the Mohawk XDX. So yeah, these are code input vehicles that you input on the settings screen and unlock. Yes, code input vehicles. In 2010, a modern game that had codes. Who would have thought? But yeah, these vehicles are technically improved or just slightly modification versions of vehicles that exist in the game. Now, you may have remembered that I just showcased the FX350, and it's kind of funny that there's a heavy downgrade version of that vehicle. What I find even funnier, though, is that the XDX is actually the only big reference to Disney in this entire game. No, I'm not joking. If you try to look for anything Disney, you can't find it. At least in the console versions, there's like nothing else Disney related at all. Like I mentioned throughout the Let's Play, there's like nothing. But yeah, these vehicles, they're just sort of there to help you out if you really need something else to utilize or you need a slight better edge with the game. Although, it doesn't make any sense considering the Time Savers passes. This Time Saver DLC packs actually exist, but whatever. So, yeah, the only other thing about these vehicles is that they have exclusive skins. And you can't change their color at all, but they're actually pretty cool designs, all things considered. They're really neat designs, and I really have to give them credit. It's really neat to see codes in a modern game, because that's so rare. It's so rare to have that. And it's funny, because for the longest time, I only thought the Mohawk XDX was the only code input card. Wrong, there's more than one. And you can input them. There's technically other vehicles that I could technically show that were in the game, but unfortunately I can't showcase them because they were pre-order bonuses. So, yeah, I can't showcase them without some sort of black magic or hackery or whatever, so good luck with that, right? Good luck with that. So, yeah, now we get back to DLC, and we have a new mode known as Deadline. Deadline is a type of mode that's similar to Detonator to a degree. It's a lot trickier than Deadline, all things considered. With Deadline, you not only get a new mode, but you also get you also get the Coyote's special. You know, that extra skin that I believe I showcased in the LP earlier. But you also get 3 new vehicles. I don't know what that truck was, but it's interesting that they added a truck, the Centaur, and the Javelin. All 3 of these vehicles are actually pretty neat bonuses, all things considered. So, in the technical sense, you're actually getting a new mode for, like, well, I'll talk about prices later, but more on to the point, this mode, the reason why it's so difficult is because if you need to drift into these tokens to increase the time more, or freeze time more. The problem is, drifting can sometimes not be easy to do in certain locations, and if you just run into them, you only get 0.5 seconds extra time, which is not a whole lot. it's just basically Detonator all over again. It's just seeing how fast you can get to the finish line without running out of time. It's an interesting twist and an added, like, expert mode, but I don't know. It's a very difficult mode that I feel like wasn't completely modified properly to make it feel like it would work out very well. Like, as you can tell, I'm having such difficulties getting my vehicle to work. Like, this is a vehicle that's technically supposed to be meant, as far as I know, designed around with the deadline pass in mind. And you can see my time. 15 seconds. And the records for this particular mode? Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't know what was going on with that mode, but yeah, it's... the deadline pass is just kind of ridiculous. The truck is also an interesting surprise, because... yeah, it's not much of a drifter, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But you may notice this is not an area that we've seen in the DLC pass, and... well, the DLC pass, yeah. The main mode. And that's because this particular course is actually DLC. It's basically from Survival at the Rock, and this is basically a... it's an interesting area, I gotta admit. It's a nice area, it's a nice spacious area, it has some pretty good scenery to look at, it has nice feels and whatnot. The truck itself, which I should probably talk about more of, it has a... it's alright. It's a truck. Like, there's nothing really much else to talk about. It's like, it has some drift power, but it feels off, I guess you could say. Like, it doesn't feel like the best of the best. Like, there's other truck options that are a little better, but it's still an interesting option if you really want to try it. I think I just didn't... did I showcase? No, I didn't showcase this entire mode. I thought I did, but it looks like I didn't. But yeah, this, but yeah, that was the DLC, but that's the DLC area. But now we get into another DLC area, which, if you listen carefully, there's no music. There's a reason for that. So this area is also a DLC course, which you can actually utilize this particular game mode, which actually has its own exclusive, it has its own exclusive music theme, but the thing is, I guess in any other game mode, it's not gonna have its music piece playing, which is weird. It is very weird. But regardless, okay, that's weird. But I guess the more important thing is this particular vehicle, the Centaur. Kind of like the Javelin, it actually is pretty drifty. I'd say it's more drifty than the Javelin. Maybe about equal to that of the Firestorm? But as you can tell, it's so weird to have no music playing in the background. And I know why that's the case. It's just so weird that it wasn't coded to have music playing in the background. It really should, but yeah. We'll be seeing this course later in its fullest action, because this course is actually really nice to see in full-on action. It really is. Because this course is called the Quarry, and my goodness, it's a really fun course. A lot more fun than I thought it would be. But there is a new mode that you get when you get the... but to get the Quarry, you have to buy the Onslaught Pass, which actually nets you a brand new mode, the Onslaught, which is a very interesting game mode. And the next 3 DLC vehicles were just standalone DLC vehicles. So let us check that out. Why don't we? So the Onslaught, this particular mode, how this works is basically it's a race to get to first, but you also have to get the most points in comparison. Now, unfortunately, early on, you're not going to get first place. But what makes this mode, in my opinion, really fun, it's just, seriously, it can get pretty fun just really fast, because it's just basically a race to get to the top. And it's just constant missiles landing right in front of you. And it's kind of amazing. Like, it's a lot more fun to play than probably to watch, but it gets a lot, but like the airstrike mode, it gets more hectic as time goes on. And what makes it even cooler is that you can actually play on some courses that were exclusively only available on like airstrike and survival modes. But more on to the point, the Vulcan vehicle. You may notice it actually has a yellow color scheme. I thought this was actually unique for a majority of the vehicles, because a lot of times they don't have yellow as an option. And yellow looks really good on this vehicle in my opinion. I love the yellow color. I really do. The Vulcan itself is actually a really nice vehicle to play as. It's a weird mixture of being a pretty sturdy to control vehicle while at the same time having some decent drifting capabilities and decent speed and acceleration. It's like a combination of being all three different kinds of vehicles. It's kind of crazy, really. That's the way I could describe it, really. It's not really as heavy as a truck, but it's not as drifty as a drift vehicle, but it's as sturdy. But it can drift like almost like one if you know what you're doing. And yeah, that's basically the Onslaught pass. It's in the Onslaught mode, and yeah, gets pretty crazy, gets pretty fun. And yeah, and it wouldn't be around something like this if I didn't wreck because of a missile. But yeah, the Vulcan is actually a pretty neat vehicle. The next vehicle is the Cerberus, I believe its name is. This vehicle actually has a really neat design. It doesn't really know how to drift, but it does have a lot of speed to its name. It's zippy, it's quick, it's easy to control. Honestly, one of the best DLC vehicles, in my opinion. It is really awesome if you know how to use it. It can be a blast to use. You can just zip by opponents, no problem at all. And I just thought I would showcase the Onslaught Pass with race course. Something I didn't realize until this particular moment is that this particular mode for some reason makes you really slow down when you hit the explosions. Like, you could tell right away the explosions really slow me down way a lot more than what seems like in other modes. It's kind of interesting. And yeah, you know, the Onslaught Pass only works on specific tracks listed on there. It's a shame, but you know, it's nice that it's actually a game mode that's actually workable, because there is a multiplayer only mode that is in there that I wasn't able to showcase, but it is what it is. But now we get into the final DLC vehicle, the Katana, and the last DLC course, the Quarry, which has its own exclusive music theme. Now the Katana, in my opinion, is what I consider my elite vehicle of choice. It actually has a great color scheme. I just went with orange. Now, the reason I love this course so much is because of how many power plays there are. Look how many power play options there are just right out of the gate. And yeah, it's a pretty crazy course, and it's actually a really fun one to play on. It's just a shame that this was the last DLC in the game to actually be offered. But I really needed to showcase the katana with this course, because, you know, the katana was my vehicle that I ended up sticking with for a long time after a while. I love the katana a lot. Now, yeah, there's a lot of different routes with this course. There's a lot of power plays to utilize. There's, like, so much going on, really. But, you know what? It wouldn't be complete. A really complete kind of DLC course with hecticness if it didn't have any route changers, right? Wouldn't it be a shame if it didn't have any route changers? Well, this one does. It does. It has a route changer. And yeah, I was gonna purposefully just showcase all the music themes in this game, in this course, because oddly enough, it only plays once per Buddha. I don't know why, it only plays once per Buddha. And it's weird, because after this, it plays just all the other songs in the game. And it's kind of a shame, really, because this is a really cool exclusive music piece that really should deserve a little more attention, but whatever. I also love this ramp, and my God, I could have wrecked right there. And yeah, that bottom half really gets hazardous after a while. It really does. Also, you thought there was just one? No, there's a second route changer. So yeah, the katana, sturdy vehicle, has a pretty decent speed, acceleration, and drift power. I love this vehicle a lot. I don't know what happened there. It's like I got crushed somehow. Also, if you couldn't tell, this is a remix of the present song in the game. It's really incredible. And yeah, that pretty much concludes all the content that I have to really showcase on Split Second. But there is one more little thing I wanted to showcase just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of it. Because I don't know if many people really know about this or not. So, in this particular game in general, and in some PS3 games as a whole, you can actually access the PlayStation Store directly from the disc. However, if a game was old enough, it actually leads you to the old PlayStation Store. What I didn't actually know, though, or, I don't know, maybe it was a server problem or something, but for some reason, it was having problems loading the images. But the last few times whenever I went in here, it didn't have this issue. So it was an odd problem that actually happened while I was recording this particular recording file. So yeah, It's a shame though, because this is the best PlayStation Store. It's active. It's still in the coding of the PlayStation 3 itself. And I wish they kept it. I really did. But, you know, this is on a rant over that. But, yeah, basically, this is all the DLC the game has to offer. And these are the prices the DLC has to have. I think eventually I actually showcased that. But, yeah, this game as a whole has some pretty decent content. But as a whole, you're going to spend about $25 or $26 of extra content in the game when not including the time savers passes. That's kind of a decent amount considering the game costs like $10 physical at this point. But yeah, overall, that was Split Second, and I'll see you all next time for one more Let's Play. Whatever that may be, or whatever that may be. The thing is, with VeeGee Gaming though, I am changing things a little bit differently. So I'm gonna bring back Let's Plays on VeeGee Mania 456, and VeeGee Gaming will be something of an entirely different kind of entity. But nevertheless, I will try to maintain content for both channels as much as I can. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed. This Let's Play was a blast to edit. It was a blast to play. I'm sorry it took so long to finish, but regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Later.